again the snap of a twig, he started, turned slowly in a circle, all his senses questing toward the direction of the sound. Where was she? Death could come at any minute, but he knew it wouldn't be quick. There were too many secrets she needed to know. Otherwise, she would have killed him during one of their animalistic trysts. Nights that still gave him shivers of arousal, even though he now knew how close he had been to death. She had been playing with him. Perhaps because she came to enjoy their lovemaking as much as he did. He gave a silent laugh, his lips pulled back from his teeth, more a snarl than a smile. What a fool. He kept deluding himself that there had been something between them, even in the face of the most explicit evidence to the contrary. What a spell she had woven over him. He shuddered, crouching down, contracting into himself as he pressed his spine against the rough pine bark. Suddenly, he was tired of running. It was here, in the frozen back of beyond, that he'd make his stand, even though he had no clear idea of how to emerge alive from this killing field. Behind him, he heard the insistent burble of water. In Sadaluga, you were never far from the inlets of the Baltic Sea, the air mineral thick with salt and seaweed and phosphorus. A blur caught like a fish on a line at the corner of his eye. There she was. Had she seen him? He wanted to move, but his limbs felt as if they were filled with lead. He could not feel his feet. Turning his head slowly brought a sliver of her advancing into the tree line. She paused, her head cocked to one side, listening as if she could hear him breathe. Unbidden, his tongue ran across his severely swollen lower lip. His mind raced backward to an exhibit of Japanese woodblock prints, stately, serene, calming. All except one piece of erotica that was so famous everyone had heard of it, even if they hadn't actually seen it in person. It hung before him, a depiction of a woman in the throes of unimaginable ecstasy, administered by her octopus lover's dexterous 8 arms. That was how he thought of his lover, his stalker. In the overheated Dar el Amar hotel room, he had known the depths or heights of the ecstasy experienced by the woman depicted in the woodblock print. In that respect, he wasn't sorry. He had never imagined, let alone expected, that anyone could give him so much pleasure. But she had, and he was perversely grateful, even though she might very well be the death of him. He started. She was coming now. Even though he didn't hear her, had lost her in the maze of trees, he could feel her moving closer, drawn to him in some inexplicable manner. So he sat and waited for her to appear, considering what he would do when that happened. He did not have long to wait. Seconds passed slowly, seeming to float away in the water somewhere behind him, at the far edge of the stand of pines. He heard her call his name, softly, gently, as she had when they were lovers, entwined, locked in their own ecstasies. A shiver ran down his spine, lodged between his legs, and would not dissipate. Still, he had resources left, surprises, chances to walk out of this killing ground alive. Putting his head down, he slowly drew his knees up to his chest. It must have started snowing fairly hard because more and more flakes were pushing their way through the tangle of needles. Green shadows morphed to charcoal gray, obscuring him further. Snow began to cover him, light as the flutter of angel wings. His heart thudded within his ribcage, and he could feel his pulse in the side of his neck. Still alive, he thought. He sensed her as she slipped between the trunks of 2 pines. His nostrils flared, one animal scenting another. One way or another, the hunt was at an end. He felt a certain relief. Soon it would be over. She was so close now that he heard the crunch as her boots cracked the gossamer thin crust, plunged into the snow with each careful step. She stopped 6 feet away. Her shadow fell over him. He had felt it for weeks now as he traveled north by northwest in his vain attempt to dislodge her. "I know what you are," she had said.